Good evening, everyone. My name is Miles Stacks, and tonight we are here live with you for some interesting and very important conversations. We'll speaking on the police brutality, especially the incident that happened last night in this past week in Wilmington, Delaware. There's a murder of a 19-year-old Kadir Skinner by Wilmington police officer. So we will be speaking more in depth, also trying to get more details as well, bring more awareness to police brutality in our communities, and also community engagement and community building on what we can do to improve our community together. So we'll have a couple people on as well. Hey, son, thanks for tuning into live. So we'll have a couple people joining the panel as well. So it won't just be me. And for people unfamiliar with the situation, I will show a clip from ABC News. It'll give you the backstory as well. Again, it was a 19-year-old. His name is Kadir Skinner. Unfortunately, he did lose his life. He was shot fatally by a Wilmington police officer from fleeing the scene. From the police reports, they said that he had a gun. From all the information coming from the community and witnesses at the scene, no gun was drawn as well. So you'll hear from the news station as well. They'll give more detail. And again, this is still under investigation. Some interesting information though. The chief of police for the Wilmington Police Department declined to provide any answers to the news as well. So when those type of stances are made, guys, when they aren't willing to do an interview or provide further information, it is more under investigation. Again, the police officer is on administrative leave, but at this point in time, it is it'll start further on investigation. So we're waiting for the body cam footage. Hey, and thank you guys for joining the live as well. So we're waiting on the body cam footage as well, because that'll kind of show us all the details. Again, we'll have Josh join us on stage, and we'll have a couple other people as well join the panel. I will post a link in the guys for the chat for you if you want to come on and voice your opinion or give your thoughts as well if you were there, or if you have any other inside information to provide us on this information on this topic. You're welcome to join the live. So I'll go ahead and post a link in the chat for you guys too. Again, this is all about solidarity and for us to bring our community together. This is not no anti-police or anything of that nature. So you have good police people out there. Do you also have your bad apples? So we're speaking about the bad apples, the one who give the police a bad representation, the ones who do go excessive force or force that leads to fatality. So when we are tired of seeing our young black men, older black men, whatever it is, black men in general being killed by police officers and them not being held accountable. So this live right here is to put pressure on the Wilmington Police Department to hold that officer accountable. If all information that is coming out is true, that this young man was unarmed, there was no reason for brutal force to be used in this situation. And that's our point right there, guys. Somebody fleeing the scene does not result in you shooting them in the back and them losing their life. That's plain and simple. So we have to get over the fact of, if someone is running away from the scene, again, I'll play the information from the news clip too for people who are unaware of the situation. Let me bring Josh on as well. He can introduce himself, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And that is correct. And just real quick, we have Sean Day on saying in the comments, and I'll put the comments on the guys so you can see that as well. She said they all give a bad reputation and they're not speaking against the ones that are doing the harm. And that is correct. And that is what our platform is here to bring awareness to these type of situations, and also for people to speak up. If somebody is in the wrong, they're in the wrong, and we need to address those ones that are in the wrong. So Josh, I'll bring you on and you can introduce yourself as well to everybody. All right, they can hear you now.
Can you hear me okay, bro? Everything good on my end?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's going on, everybody? Josh Kalk, Delaware resident. I've known Kamal 10 plus years, known him since middle school. Graduated same class. One of my good friends, definitely a brother. It's this situation. Before I'm not gonna say too much, but I just want to have to give my thanks to you, bro, as well as all the other people. I do want to give a quick special shout out to my boy Patrick. I know he's tuning in as well. Shout out Pat. I know he's tuning in, and I want to give a special thanks to Unsolved and 302 Delaware Pulse. And I do apologize. There's another person. He knows who he is. I believe he's tuned in. Thank you to him as well. And just to everybody that I've reached out to in regards to this. I know this is a sensitive topic, but I do believe that it is something that just cannot be discussed. And I feel like when it comes to things like this, a lot of times people from our demographic, or rather I'd say age group, gets overshadowed and overlooked when it comes to our opinions on matters such as this. But what people fail to realize is a lot of the ages of these situations that are taking place with these people, they could be any one of our little cousins, a little nephew or niece, or even a sibling. So I feel like when these things are happening and nobody is saying anything, it's like, what if that was your child?
Right.
What if you were in a situation like that? You would want people to speak up for you, regardless of political preference, regardless of religious preference. You would want somebody to have your back in the sense of knowing when something is quote unquote right or wrong in the sense of many different things. So I felt like this discussion is needed, and I know it was kind of like real fast that we put this together. So I'm happy that we were able
Hmm.
to put this together. And I just wanted to give a quick thanks to everybody, RJ as well, just everyone that shared it and put it out there and
Right.
wanted to listen. And I'm just really glad that people gave us, in a sense of being welcoming with us doing this, because I can just be honest. It's probably some people that say, what do these guys know? They're in their 20s. What do they know about anything? But
Hmm.
life is life. Things can happen to anyone at any given time at any age. So these topics and conversations, and situations, they are sensitive in nature, but they have to be had. So I'm glad that you were able to, be kind enough to utilize your platform and put your platform out there as a launching pad for this to be discussed. So I definitely appreciate that.
Of course, bro. And we have a couple other guests as well, Joy and McCare. Just give me one moment. Just want to welcome everybody into the live as well. Again, we're speaking on the unfortunate fatality shooting from the Wilmington police officer, 19-year-old Kadir Skinner. Unfortunately, lost his life due to the injuries. So again, we're speaking on the police brutality in our communities and also what we could do as a community to build and move forward. So this is an open and honest conversation. The link that I posted in the chat, guys, if anybody wants to come on the stream, they can voice their opinion. Again, keep it as profanity free as you can. You feel me? But voice your opinion and let us know what you're thinking. So I'll bring Joy on and McKeeb, not McCare. McKeeb, I'm bringing you on as well, sir. So I'll let you two introduce yourselves. Then we'll play the video from ABC News, and then we'll go ahead and get started on the topic as well, guys. All right. We can hear you, McKeeb, and Joy, if you on mute, we can hear you as well once you take yourself off mute.
How you doing, man? I'm trying to finish up my little bit of dinner I'm eating, man.
Oh, you good, you good. Look, all right. So what I'll do is, look, we can do this. I'll bring you on stage just in a moment. Let me play the video just to inform people of what's going on, and then we'll start the conversation from there. Okay.
All right.
All right, no problem, sir. And the same thing, and I'll bring the video up for you guys. Again, this right here is from ABC News. So I'll go ahead and make this full screen. Let me do this real quick.
Shooting in Wilmington, Delaware. Now, overnight, officers say they were forced to open fire, killing a 19-year-old man.
And the victim's family is disputing police claims that he had a gun, and they're also demanding more answers from officers. Let's go now live to Action News reporter Becca Hendrickson from the scene with what we know so far. Becca.
Christy and Tam, we're with the family right now. They're about to give us an update. Again, they're disputing police version of events, but it all happened right here around me. We're at 24th and Carter in Wilmington. Take a look at some of our video from overnight. The victim's father came to Wilmington police looking for answers about the police shooting death of his son, 19-year-old Kadir Skinner. His family says he was with a large group running from a dog before he was shot by police. It happened around 11:15 last night after a foot chase near 24th and Jessup Streets. That's about 500 feet from where we are in Wilmington. Police say Skinner came out of a house and pointed a gun at a crowd that officers were monitoring, then took off. An officer shot Skinner during that encounter. Police say Skinner was then taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Skinner's family, again, is disputing the police version of events. Witnesses say Skinner was not armed, and his sister also has questions about his transport to the hospital.
We don't know what took place from the scene in the police car to the hospital. I don't know if my little brother had a fighting chance.
I know they didn't have a gun. How did my son get shot in the back? Twice. I want to know, how did my son wind up in the police car shot with handcuffs on?
Unanswered questions here. We have learned at this point that the officer has been placed on administrative leave and that the Delaware Department of Justice is helping handle this investigation. Again, we're hoping to speak with the family any minute.
Sorry about that. Again, that is the information that we have in regards to this incident. So some interesting points that were made throughout this, throughout the interview, and as well from ABC, for you guys to hear. So initially, it was a large group of people that were fleeing, that were at a scene. And if you hear what they said, they were running from a dog, and then the police are saying that Kadir had a gun that was drawn at the crowd. So if anybody knows anything about realistic situations, if there's a group of people running and there's a dog loose, a lot of people are going to be running their own way. You feel me? So yes, a large group of people may be running different directions, but that police statement coming out and saying that he had a gun pointed at the large crowd, it doesn't work hand in hand on with the story that is being given from the witnesses that were there or from the community at hand. So that's why it's very important for us to hold the police accountable in this instance, where you have to, it's not hold their feet to the fire, but in this quote unquote, hold their feet to the fire. We need answers, and we don't need BS. We don't need filler busters. We don't need anything given us to lead us off the trail. And that's why it's important for body cam footage to be released. It's important for that cop who was on administrative leave, the same way how you're able to pull a gun and take a young man's life. I believe that you should also be in public, be able to do a public press conference and give your side of the story, or, you know what I'm saying, give detail what happened or what transpired. There isn't a reason why this officer should be able to just, his identity not be out there. And it may be protocol from police. So, you know what I'm saying, we ain't gonna speak what the police protocol is, but these are things as citizens in our community that we need to be able to get answers for. So that is the reason why it's important for us to have this engaging conversation. And it's also important for us to see what other information can be provided to us in the time being until all the details on this case is brought out. So I'll go ahead and bring our other guests on live as well, and then we'll also continue the conversation from there. Sorry, McKee, Joy, are y'all good now?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So what's your guys' thoughts on this situation that transpired?
For me, I think it's a one because I know the area. It's a little bit of like the story doesn't seem believable, right? Because the street, there's houses on. It's a road. It's townhouses in the city. So if he came out of the house and pointed a gun, but the cops were monitoring, like it just doesn't make sense because putting a gun from a house on the block while a group of people is running by to a loose dog, like where's the dog? Why wasn't the dog shot? Like there's just so many different questions that could be asked. And I mean, I feel like we need more information, but I also think that they will give limited information, right? Because that's the whole concept of police is goes back to, my soapbox of the thought process of we need to, change things that was handed to us and try to reform all the way together. But I definitely think that we need more information. But I think that this will, as unfortunate as the situation is, I don't think that people are mad enough for something to actually happen.
And Bakib, I'll let you give your take on it as well. Go ahead, sir. Oh, you still finishing up the meal? I don't know if he's able to hear me. He may have to join back on. All right, so sorry about that, y'all. All right, but yeah, to Joy's point, the community isn't outraged enough, and that is the problem right there as well. So when we speak on being outraged, it ain't about, we done enough protesting, we done enough rioting. We need answers, we need actual change, and change starts within, guys. So it does start with us being hands-on with our children, hands-on in our community. So there isn't no victim mentality or victim blaming in this situation. At this point in case, again, like we had Shonda in there, or sorry, that's Shonda in there speaking on, just because there's a large crowd of people does not mean something is wrong. And that's correct. People have to understand that when you see a large crowd, whether it's minorities, Black people, white, Asians, no matter the case may be, that does not mean that people are up to no good. And that, again, excessive force needs to be used in a situation like this. Another thing that needs to be addressed is, why is it always shoot first and not just try to either detain the situation, de-escalate the situation? If there were no shots fired at a police officer, is the police officer saying he feared for his life? So this is the type of information that needs to be available, not months down the line, but right then and there. And this is also a reason why when we go off of police protocol, it's so easy for them to change the narrative or interpret their own meaning on what's exactly going on, because we will lose the context of the actual situation until they're deciding to release their press conference or their press releases or do their press conferences, So that's the issue at hand right there. We need to hold the police department accountable, hold this police officer accountable. At the same time, come together as a community to show that we're united on all stands, on all fronts. Don't let this divide us within our community, guys. We need to start coming together. But if you want to protest, if you want to rally, that's fine. But know that there has to be change within our community for it to actually be changed. You have the change within. That's number
I
one.
I definitely agree. Can I say something real
Go
quick?
ahead.
Because, like, remember, I went to the high school with the boy that was in the wheelchair that got shot. That they, said that he had a gun and was pointed at him previously, a couple years ago. So it's kind of weird to me how that. And when I say the community is not outraged enough, this is exactly what's happening because it happened. You may see the little stories on Facebook, but we still don't know what happened. You feel what I'm saying? Because how could he have been armed in a wheelchair?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like it's just a consistency of history repeating itself. And again, even the history of rioting and protesting that gets us nowhere. We don't get anywhere with that. Like it's just the thought process, not reinventing the wheel, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just more about thinking of another way because it's actually needs to happen another way. I know for a fact, I went to high school with a lot of Wilmington PD, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went to there's like a prison there's like a school to police officer pipeline at the particular school that at St. E's. So
Mm-hmm.
like when you see a police officer and you went to high school with them and you're familiar with them, it's kind of a different situation because you know them on a personal level, but they maneuver under these rules that are unrealistic. And
Right.
then as a normal person, they're what's a nice way of calling somebody? Um not able to protect themselves. So they're not able to protect themselves with, on a regular as a personal, but now they're given a gun and a badge. And if you can't protect yourself with your hands or without anything, imagine what your first thing to do is because you're a punk in a sense.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead, Josh.
Are you able to hear me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with this situation, to start things off, first and foremost, I want to give my thoughts and well wishes and send love to the family of Kadir Skinner. Um, Often enough, and I don't want to get too sidetracked, but you have situations like this, and we've seen, and I feel like we grown up, meaning from us being in middle school and high school. I feel like all of
Mm-hmm.
us on this panel, and there is some people in the comments that can probably relate. It feels like we grew up, unfortunately, with having to see these situations in 4K, meaning similar situations, not necessarily police powered shootings, but the Trayvon Martins and the Eric Gardners, and we can go on and on and on. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of our generation had to grow up seeing these things and not really fully knowing like what we're seeing. Because yeah, you can take something at glance and say, okay, they did this, but just like we're unpacking this situation now, when you dig more deeper and see how deep it is, realizing that yes, the situation is the situation, but that's only like a fraction of what this truly means. It's
Right.
saddening because you have a situation, and going off of what was told, they said that it was already, and I believe someone in the comments said it as well, that it was a gathering outside and they were monitoring it, and then he comes outside allegedly, and they said that the police said that he pointed the gun at the crowd, and when they tried to approach him, he took off. And the first thing that I thought of and I said was, well, as they're chasing him, did he turn around and brandish a weapon that they're saying he had on him?
Mm-hmm.
Did he attempt to try to, use the weapon and use it on someone? Because I look at it like this: if he didn't, and if they had to use some type of force to get him to stop running, that could be, still disheartening in itself, more understandable. But the fact that, and one of my friends, shout out Lex, she said it best, and I'm saying this in a respectful way, but for them automatically placing the officer on administrative leave, in my sense, shows that no matter how the situation unfolded, that officer didn't go by what he was taught in the academy. He didn't go by the conduct and the policies that the Wilmington Police Department have set in place for their officers to abide by. And I feel like that's the biggest thing of this scope that I feel like a lot of the Wilmington residents should be angry about is, yes, the situation is disheartening in itself, but that's not where it ends. You guys still have to deal with the Wilmington Police Department, hoping that if a situation happens and you rely on them, that they will go out and do their job. And that right there is disheartening, because someone else on Facebook said it. I forgot who it was, but they said it's bad enough when a lot of African Americans commit crimes against themselves, but it's even worse when these crimes are committed by the people that are put in place to protect us. And when that happens, who can you trust? Who can you turn to? Who can you rely on? And I feel like that's why the community is in such a disarray right now, is because you could see a cop car drive by at any given point of the day and not think that these are going to be the people that you got to watch out for. You know, like we always hear stories about how there is police that are quote unquote crooked or don't always go by the book. But let's just call a spade a spade. It's one thing, you know, it's as they always say, you know, you got to watch what's going on in your backyard. But what do you do when there's trouble at your front yard too, at your front step? What do you do then? And I feel like knowing that these people are put in place to protect and they're not protecting, seems like they're just protecting themselves, you're gonna have a problem. And I feel like the community is at a standstill, and you know, as Malcolm X said, the price of freedom is death. And I don't mean death in the literal sense, but just some old things have to die out. We cannot keep going down the same path of let's go have a protest, let's go have a march, let's go tear some stuff up,
I
and
agree.
boom.
Josh, can I ask
That,
you a question?
yes.
So I know you mentioned how they're put in place to protect, right?
Yes.
But the full concept of the police wasn't to protect, right? Because if you think about when police were created, it all inception happened during slavery, and their concept was to do nothing other than to retrieve the property of the white man, right? Which was the
Hmm.
slave owner, which was the slaves, and I mean it. And I'm saying this in a sense of like the parallels are so similar that people don't look that deep into things, but realistically, they were designed to hunt and kill and bring them back, right? And
Yes.
it's just happening in modern day, and as people are just being used as collateral, but the system is working exactly how it was designed to work because it was never designed for us. Hence the
Yeah, I
reason for the
agree.
Black Panther Party. Hence the reason for the different things that were created in history to combat and go against the police. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, one, the outrage is not enough, but two, the education is not enough. And it's like, if we're ignorant, we're going to continue to try to rely on a system that's not created for us to fix our problems. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a miseducation, and it's rearing its head once again. And I'm just playing devil's advocate. The reason I'm asking is because, like, I think in my brain I'm smarter to know that the police, or I'm conditioned to know that this is what's going to happen because, one, in my lifetime I've watched black men get killed consistently. But
Hmm.
two, I was raised by a first generation segregated school in New York. So
Hmm.
there's a difference in like what you're exposed to, I think, that gives you the thought process behind what you do you see for police for what they're for, or what the concept is of police, or do you see police for what they actually are?
I agree. And to answer that, was I good to answer that, Mal? Am I okay to answer that?
Yeah, you good. You good. Y'all good. Y'all good. I'm replying back to the people in the comments. So if I'm not
So
speaking, you guys are fine. Go ahead.
okay, yep. So and I appreciate your thought process on that too, Joe. I appreciate your statement. Um, to answer that for you, the reason why I say what I say is because you. It's kind of like I started the sentence and you just finished it. I feel like is both sides of the same coin. Because yes, to end it off, yes, we know deep down inside what it truly is. But in order to get to the root cause of what it truly is, you have to discuss what's already on the surface level and being projected and being seen by the public. You know, kind of like propaganda. We know that from what we're told and what it's portrayed upon, that the police are here to protect and serve. It's in the motto. But we know that that's not always the case. But more so of, I feel like where the problem lies at, or rather the start of the solution, I should rather say, is how many times are we going to have the conversation of this is what they're really doing? Just like somebody said in the comments, we've seen time and time again many incidences happen around the globe and even in our own state where we always knew that the police officer wasn't 100% in the right for what they did. So my whole thing is, how much more protest? Now, discussions always have to be had. You have to talk
Right.
about the issues. But how many protests and how many videos are we going to see of people burning up, you know, businesses that have nothing to do with the issues at hand, burning up the same communities that this violence is plagued in? How many times are we going to have to see the same thing played in repeat until it clicks in our head that we, like you just said, Joy, we already know that it's not what it's all cracked up to be. And I feel like a lot of people are holding on to the, well, let's go out there and, okay, you can protest, you can, but what are you doing in the sense of making this situation like, okay, where it's not just a taboo. It's been
Hmm.
not taboo, but a lot of and I'm gonna be honest and say it, I'll take the bullet on this. A lot of city officials and governors and mayor act like it's taboo. They act like these problems don't happen. They act like they can't turn on the news themselves or reach out to their constituents and know what's going on. So how many times do we have to see these situations? And also, what a lot of people have to like check their pride at the door with, in my opinion, as well, is we get it. We know Wilmington isn't the greatest of cities. We know that it has a history of violence, crime. We know. But how long are you just going to sit there and paint that picture as that's what it is until you start to get to the root of, you know, crime can't be automatically just control alt deleted. It's gone. But we gotta crack down on this. We gotta limit this. We gotta see what the root of the problem is. Because just like that one community representative said in that viral interview when they were speaking with the mayor of Baltimore, he said, as the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. But what do you do when the village is stupid? It sounds funny, but it's true. When you have a lot of, as you said, Joy, miseducation and misinformation being put out there, you might as well just kiss everything that you're doing goodbye, because what good is it of you doing something if people don't know what you're doing? You can go out there and say, tell, and show somebody what you're doing, but if they don't know why you're doing it, then what good is it? And I feel like a lot of these city officials and everybody that is involved in this situation, the investigation, I feel like they're on a microscope right now, because this isn't the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth time that things like this has happened in Delaware. But now, as you see through the years, the age gets younger and younger and younger, more questions, less answers. And it's to the point where people are fed up. And I'm not saying this to put this out there, but I do have to say it, just like I also said the other day, and I'll be finished. How is it that you have third world countries and you have other continents that are smaller than the United States of America that have successfully either overthrown their governments or at least challenged it into the sense to where the government or the people, the higher ups, had no choice but to at least listen to what they said and to try to come to common ground? It feels like a lot of times when it comes to situations like this, the African American community is like getting
Scared.
kicked in their behind, but they're allowing themselves to get kicked in the behind. Because
Right.
Scared.
just like you said, Joy, like the stuff is out there. You don't have to search. This is not back in the day when things were segregated to the point to where we were blocked from the knowledge. Google is at your fingertips. You can see with your own two eyes what is going on in your own neck of the woods. And the fact that a lot of the people who are put into positions to try to challenge what has been set in place already for hundreds of years are just turning a blind eye. Like I said, I haven't heard no officials really speak about this, but yet they're
Right.
talking about, and not to be rude and no offense to them, but I do know there was a high profile bill in regards to the LGBTQ community that was just passed, and it's no issue with that being spoken on because it's of importance. But I've been hearing a lot of community officials speak about that, but have not even opened up about this. And mind you, this situation has spread it like wildfire in the past 24 hours. And so the fact that a lot of these people from the city of Wilmington, the people that matter, the people that do have a voice, have not said anything is what bothers me the most. Because this is something that you just cannot. This young man's family don't even have a clue as to what even happened 100%. They've been probably told so many different stories that they don't even know who's telling the truth or not. And I feel like in times like this, regardless of what you're looked at as, you took that oath and you took that position of power, and you're supposed to have the people in mind because the people went out and voted for you. So the fact that you guys aren't speaking up enough or saying what needs to be said, you don't have to know it all. Just like you don't have to understand to understand. But the fact that a lot of these city officials and city representatives, and I've even heard like the NAACP of Delaware, as Mr. Booker has said in some statements, is people that need to address it, bring it to the light, because our voices are powerful, but it shouldn't have to take the everyday citizens such as us to bring this to the forefront when there's people who are tax dollars pay their salaries that have not even said a lick of anything about this is what really pisses me off. And
Well,
I feel
see,
like
Josh,
that right there is one of the
hold
main
on,
things
Josh.
that has to be discussed.
Yeah, no, to your point, Josh, and I agree with everything you just said. But that last part, I'm gonna just reiterate this. It is our point in the community for us to, you know what I'm saying, be the spokesperson to be in the forefront of this. Because again, if we want to put this on city officials or the people we vote to be in power, it's clear as day. I tell people this all the time. Listen, once somebody joins, if they're a politician or they're in a city council, once they agree to become a person that we put in the office, they still are colleagues with these people. So they're not going to do anything to ruffle any feathers. They're going to do everything to protect their pension, protect their salary job, and protect their income. Feel me? So they're not going to put their career on the line because there's only select few people who actually do that in politics who put their career. If you have your civil rights activist people who actually put their careers on the line, their lives on the line for things like this. So it's clear as day that our city elected officials do not have the same sense of urgency that we have as citizens. So it is on us to, that's why I call this, we speaking on police brutality, but we also speaking on community building. So it's
Can I ask
very
you a
important.
question?
It's very important for both of those things to be going hand in hand. We need to again hold the police accountable for when they're in the wrong, but we also need to hold our community accountable to grow, to change this mindset of staying in the victim mentality. There's no reason why, like how we mentioned earlier, everybody has Google at the tip of their fingers. You still shouldn't be miseducated on your laws or the laws at hand. You feel what I'm saying? You should know when you're in the right and when you're in the wrong. So we have to be educated on all standpoints. And educated does not mean go out there and spend your go in debt, get student loan debt, get for a degree that may not be worth something. I'm talking about be educated on all aspects in life. So yes, as citizens, we have to be more mindful and be more engaged, guys. It's not about letting the city elected officials take the brunt or for them to be a spokesperson for you. You vote them in the office, but if you don't see change, like we have somebody in here speaking up, we need a civil action. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna go on the work strike because we already know in America people live paycheck to paycheck. So more than likely, people can't take time off work in the first place. But long story short is that our community has to hold each other accountable the same way we want to hold these police officers accountable. It's a two-way street. So again, not putting blame on the victim in this situation or any situation in regards to police brutality. But again, we need to be in the mindset where we have to look forward to moving forward as a community. Stop always looking to point the finger at people and look to come together and actually join forces. That's actually going to be the change and the mindset you need for a change to be initiated. Because change won't happen when you're divided. If there's the divisiveness in your group, change will never come. So, Makib, if you want to give your piece as well, and then Joy, you can respond.
Man, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
I've been going in and out, man. I'm just glad that the young people are really taking the baton. I'm listening to y'all, man, and everything that I'm speaking on, y'all are articulating because my articulation might not be as good as y'all's, but to hear y'all speak, man, and to put it in the proper text and form, I'm just sitting back, me and my wife just listening to y'all. It's like, listen to them young brothers and sisters go. You know what I'm saying? And the baton needs to be passed to y'all in my mindset. And trying to think of the words I need to say. Um, oh, that's you know what? To sum it all up, um, I had a brilliant idea today to formulate uh, the Black Street Caucus, and listening to y'all speak, that's what needs to be done, because the elected officials they have something called the Delaware Way, and that's like people my generation. They ain't coming out of that block, brother or sister.
Mm-hmm.
They're not coming out of that block. That's where they're gonna stay, and they've been paid off. They've been bought off, and they're really no good. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. The black elected officials have been bought off, and they're no good. So you have to look past them, and what you have to do is hold their feet to the fire, like I heard one of y'all say. But you need to formulate a strong caucus, a coalition of young brothers and sisters such as yourselves, and a few sprinkle seasoned saints in there like me to push this ball forward. Because if y'all don't do it, this generation it's over. So I'm just sitting back listening, man, and I don't even want to take up y'all time. I just want to sit in, and listen to the conversation that y'all having, really, truthfully.
Yes, sir. And again, I appreciate McKee for coming on and giving your thoughts as well. And to your point, we do need more young people speaking up. This is exactly why we went live tonight to speak on this topic. Again, if you're just tuning in, there was a 19-year-old named Kadir Skinner. Unfortunately, he passed away due to sustaining gunshot wounds from a Wilmington police officer. The police officer has been placed on administrative leave. Some more information is coming out. It was a look. This is the problem, though, guys. The real problem is that we have been asking for change since segregation, desegregation, since Jim Crow, since we've been saying after the 1865. You feel me? So we've been looking for a fair piece of the pie in America. At some point in time, it's going to keep rearing its ugly head, and the truth is very hard to accept, especially when we are citizens who helped build this country. But when the country or a system is not designed, and it's not about being successful per se, but when it's not designed to protect your everyday rights, that is something that we have to do something in regards to. So like McKeeb said, we've already tried the point of putting people in the office, putting people in politics, putting people in city council, everything. We've already tried all that. We have a lot of representation of our of black people, or you want to call us Moors, whatever you want to call us, minorities, however you want to label us. We have a lot of us in these positions, and things are still not changing. There are countless videos that you can find online, whether it's in Delaware or around the country, of police officers taking excessive force and taking our lives. Now, again, do they take other races' lives? Yes, but we're not speaking about other races, because we're speaking about our community and the impact it's having on us, on our children, and it's going to be our grandchildren eventually. So we don't want it to just a baton being passed on of trauma. There has to be somewhere where it's stopped along the way. Is it our generation that's going to stop it? I don't know, but we have to be the ones to at least, again, hold their feet to the fire to really inspire change within our community. And it's not nobody blaming our community for these tragedies that's happening. Police were put into place not to protect and serve, guys. That's what they use as far as their slogan and everything. And I myself, be honest with you, transparent, I was in the process of going into being a state police officer, but it was a moral compass I had to accept, where I'm pro-black and I'm very forward straight with my community. I wouldn't be able to be a police officer in that case, because they're designed to either put us in jail or people that they assume as danger in jail. You feel me? So it goes so much deeper in our history and the roots of how we're treated with these police officers. Enjoy, if you want to go ahead. All right, I'm not sure if she's still there. Josh, are you here?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. So, and then I also want to address somebody in the comments as well. So, this is Fear the Beard. So he mentioned again that a lot of action. So a major work shutdown, and I'm gonna adjust this comment right here. A major work shutdown. Again, if you do a breakdown on the finances, the economics in America, it's not possible for people to leave work or to not go to work, especially with, we all know the debt rises every year, and so does inflation. You feel me? So people won't be able just to leave work for us to have a real change there, bro, but hurt the pockets of everybody in America. Now, if we all came together as a community and pulled our resources together, there are ways for us to do similar things as the work shut down, but we would have to be on the same page. And the issue a lot of times is that we all know the issue at hand, but we don't have a solution. So that's the problem. You feel me? It's not people just like me who voice, you know what I'm saying, frustration with police brutality. That's been going on for decades. You feel me? So we've had from the Black Panthers and other organizations voicing their frustrations and for our community to come together. But if people aren't going to be like-minded and educated on a lot of things, then it's going to be hard for us to connect on an educated level for us really to prevail against the system. We know it's a system at hand, guys. That's not something that's unknown at this point in time. We know it's a system at hand. But what are we going to do to disband that system? You feel me? We've already tried putting our people, I'm saying us, skin color people. When I say us, I'm talking about us. You feel me? So when we put our people as police officers, as lawyers, has things really changed? No. So that's my point. You feel me? We've already put ourselves in position to be on that side of the law to prevent things like this. Oh, we're thinking, oh, hey, little Johnny, go become a police officer or a lawyer, so you'll be able to protect our people. You'll be able to serve our people in court if it came to that. Guys, more than likely or not, they're going to turn blind eye when the check is on the table. You feel me? Because it's still a career, it's still a source of income. So like Makib said, we already have people in city council, but once you get in those rooms, they're not always going to want to step on everybody's toes, because in their eyes, how can I get to that next position? It's the same thing at your career. You know what I'm saying? The job that you're at or the business that you own, you're not going to step on everybody's toes to get where you want to be, are you? No, you're going to play the game. So these people are in position, yes, that we may vote in, but they're playing the game. And playing the game it's a long-term thing. It's not short-term, so it's not going to happen overnight. And if you guys have anything to respond to that, go ahead, Joy or Josh, go ahead.
I have one thing to say to that.
Go ahead, McKee.
If the like you said, if the people was unified and we had their back, regardless of what they did, we voted. I hate to say this, but I do love to say this, monolithically on one block, on one accord, and we had that strong back for them to allow them to maneuver how they needed to maneuver. If they really wanted to maneuver that way, we had to put those type of people in position. Then they wouldn't have to worry about, stepping on somebody's toes to get that next position, because we would usher them into that next position by the power that we had behind their voice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if the people would come together and control our politicians, meaning hold them accountable for everything they do, and also stand with them even when they have their shortcomings, and not just run away from them so toughly, then they would see that we had their back, and they would be able to move a little bit thoroughly.
Oh no, correct. Not sure if you had cut out, sir, but no. To your point, and that's
the ones that could be to fill those positions, like Sister Sinead Darby. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and that's our Black Crockett. And I'm gonna put them plugs in there because I want this audience to know who's for the people and who's not. But if and I'm gonna get off here right quick, and I'm just gonna sit back and listen. But if we stand behind our Black politicians unapologetically and just say this is what we want, and because unapologetically being Black is better for the whole country anyway. So we have to get away from being afraid of being unapologetically on a point agenda that we're on. Even Obama was afraid of that, and he was sitting in the biggest seat that you could sit in. So if we have the push behind our people locally, I believe that that's how we're going to get that job done. But it's going to take some strong individuals that's fearless, because they're going to come at your jobs, they're going to come at your children, they're going to come, man, they come all kinds of ways at me, brother. But if we can get some fearless young brothers and my brilliant minds like I'm hearing tonight from you and your panel, I believe, man, we heading in the right direction. And I'm going to put my thing on mute.
All right, and I appreciate that, sir. And Linda, to your point, yeah. So she said 70% of Americans are going through medical issues, and the pandemic affected us. Affected many. Sorry, not everyone is awake, unfortunately. Okay, so to your point, yes, we all go through things. Like, you feel me? I'm a diabetic myself. I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I personally deal with my own medical issues. But you see me here on live, engaged with you guys tonight, right? So the COVID, the pandemic, like, everybody was affected by it, but it's still not a reason to not be informed on how to, conduct ourselves as a community. When I say conduct ourselves as a community, that's just not prevent us from coming together. That should not prevent us from being able to hold a conversation like this, and then tomorrow we have another conversation like this that's actually implement and change. So there's nothing wrong with, everybody goes through their medical struggles, their financial struggles. I get that, but if we're looking to build our community up, We have to be able to put those personal struggles aside. And that's where your community, you should be able to rely on your neighbor. You feel me? It's the same thing if you were to go to church, they tell you turn to your neighbor and say a prayer or give them a hug. You feel me? Or greet your neighbor. You feel me? So have that same mindset in our community. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't have to be financially or anything of that nature. Just overall support. If you see somebody out there preaching a good message, or like you guys mentioned, Sinead Darby, as far as being one of the members who are for our people. And I follow her on Facebook, so I understand exactly what you guys are speaking on. And I followed her on Facebook, I think, before she actually got elected in the office, and I've been following her journey ever since. You feel me? So I'm young. I'm not gonna be educated on every topic, but that's where you follow people who are either more educated than you or that know a little bit more than you, and you just support what they're doing. If they're creating content, if they're over there, not just creating content, but they're over there pushing a message, or if they're telling you to vote for them in office, and you agree with what they're saying, then that is something you need to go ahead and support. So again, it's not always financially, it's not always about that portion of it. So we all dealt with the pandemic, but the pandemic started in 2020. We're in 2026 now. Are there still lingering effects from it? Yes. But at the same time, how we just seen Elon Musk become a trillionaire, there's still ways for us to, you feel me? There's still ways for us to make money. We can't look at the landscape that we fall into the propaganda that America feeds us. We've been falling into that trick for how long now? You feel me? So I hear what you're saying, but I don't rock with it because I just can't see it from that lens. You feel me? At the same time, there's no way that our people are struggling so much and from everywhere, but we're still seeing people reach new heights and striving past their goals. You feel what I'm saying? There's no reason why there was an Asian community issue. They got their whole reform, but our people been dealing with issues and we don't have those same protection, those same rights. Nah, I'm not rocking with that. And I don't care if we keep putting people in office. We need to put the right people in office for us to get change. So I'll bring Josh back on too. Again, if anybody else wants to join, the link is in the chat. Again, this is an open discussion, and then this is all community building. And Linda, I agree with you. The few can actually change. Eventually, they will join. But that's why we have to keep pushing a message like this. You feel me? So your standpoint is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But that same support that you have, or the same mindset you have, if you have a granddaughter, grandson, or if you have a daughter or a son, whatever the case may be, a niece or nephew, then that would be the one you will want to push out there to go ahead and speak for your version. You feel me? So that's what I'm saying. It's not about all of us. We all ain't gonna think the same. We're human. We all think differently. We're all intellectual beings in our own right. So we just have to communicate better to be on the same page. That's all I'm saying. And Josh, are you back?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me good?
Yes, sir.
So and if I can't hear you but you can still hear me, I'm gonna just ask you to do a thumbs up. If I can't hear, I still just wanted to get my point across.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not you, bro. It's StreamYard. It's like I said, it's a bandwidth thing with the internet. So sometimes, like on the hosting side, it's fine, but for our guests, they may have issues when they're joining.
So like even if I can't hear you on your end, I'll just be like, can you still hear me? And we could just keep it rolling. Sir. But I feel like from what you said and what you've been saying and from the comments, I wholeheartedly feel like this. It's getting to the point, and I feel like this, in my personal opinion, is where things lack in the African American community. It's the fact of a lot of people want to push in the forefront what they feel like is the proper solution, when in all reality, it's as simple as a black cookout. I'm gonna bring the hot dogs, you bring the hamburgers, I'm gonna bring the sodas. Yeah. One person might bring hot dogs, and they might not even be a fan of hot dogs, but know that a lot of people do like hot dogs, so they're going to bring it, so there's something to eat. It's the same concept. You don't have to 100% agree with me to understand that within what I'm saying, something makes sense. So put a little bit of this, a little bit of that, come together, you got something. It doesn't have to be a tug-of-war battle of who has the most proper solution. If I know that everybody around me has an idea that can make this whole thing go forward, then let's all put our ideas together and make it one big good thing so it can help this move forward. Because I feel like we always get the ball rolling when it comes to situations like this. Like what we are, I feel like, not to be funny, but I feel like it's just like how the Spurs and the Knicks was just now in the finals. Yeah. The Spurs, they going to either come back or they just going to lead all the way to the end. But then in the key moments of the fourth quarter, we collapse. And that's the same thing that goes on with situations such as these. Yeah. Just like we've been saying throughout tonight's whole podcast, we already know that these things happened before, they're happening in present time, and it's going to happen tomorrow. But we have to proactively get to a point to where you gotta thread the needle a little bit. You literally have to like apply pressure not only to the situation but to yourself as well, because a lot of the things that we've been doing is just not working. And it's not to say that the thought's not there, but to carry things out, sometimes you got to put in a little elbow grease and get your hands dirty when you don't want to. Because as my dad used to always say, sometimes you don't just ask, you do. Ask questions later. You know, and like this is no, regardless of what the situation is, what he may have done, and I'm saying it like this: if evidence does come, I'm not saying it is, but if things come out later that backs up the claims that have been said, then other conversations can be had. But I wholeheartedly feel like, regardless of that, and I'm still standing on the fact of, if he did not use, if there was a weapon involved, if he did not use it in the sense of actually using it in or flashing at or whatever, it was not necessary. And a lot of people don't want to sit there and say what needs to be said because they're afraid of the consequences with it. But just like I said, what Malcolm X said, the price that you pay for freedom is death, in the sense of they're going to try to silence you. They're going to try to not allow you to say what you want to say and feel how you want to feel. But just like you said, bro, that's been going on since the beginning of our existence. That's not
beginning of time. Look, I ain't gonna hold you. If you don't think about our history, since they came here in 1492 and they want to get Christopher Columbus for founding our land. And I ain't gonna give you guys a whole history lesson, but you guys gotta understand our history. It starts before 1492, before they got here on whatever that ship was called when they took over the land, whatever the case may be. Before 1776, America found its independence. Before Juneteenth, you feel me? In 1865, guys, our history goes way beyond that. So you have to be educated on everything from our people. Understand this, and like Mr. Harold said in the chat, we are easily distracted. We are, but it's all from. I understand it like this. I'm playing like this, and I keep it real simple for you guys, right? And I'm gonna bring up this statistic too, so you understand. This isn't just about the young man, Kader Skinner, who lost his life, guys. So I'm gonna just show you this stat real fast, and then I'll finish my point. Right. So right here it says Black Americans make up 12% of the U.S. population, but accounted for 24% of those killed by police in 2025. This doesn't say 2022. This says 2025. This is statistics that are already, done, and they're facts. You feel me? These are facts. 94% of those killed were male, and the highest risk age group is 30 to 44, accounting for 41% of police-involved deaths. So I'll show you guys that stat for a reason. Okay, the young man did lose his life to police brutality. But this is not a one-off issue. This is something that happens every year. You feel me? It's every month, and it just keeps happening to our people. You feel me? But they target our people. So like Josh said, if evidence was to come out that this young man did do that, so I would say this. That's why I said earlier in the post I put up, we need to wait for all the details before we can point blame either at the police officer or at the young man if he made an irrational decision in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Don't brandish your gun to a cop, anything like that. That would be the message for that. You feel me? So yes, we'll wait on the details for this specific case. But again, it's deeper than just this case. It's affecting our people all over the country. It's been affecting our people for decades. So it's just trauma, and it's trauma built on trauma. But like Mr. Held said, when we are easily distracted, it's something like this that will get our attention tonight, right? But the same way how LaMelo Ball was traded to the Timberwolves, something else will happen tomorrow in the NBA or NFL that will go ahead and take our people's attention to something else. So we are easily distracted, but it's for a certain reason. It's a reason why they want to put your kids in, I say our kids, my kid as well, you feel me? He's in the school system too. But it's a reason why they would take them out of classes and have them rather do either more recess or more playtime or something that's distracting them instead of actually learning how to read, write, and do things math correct. So you guys, let me give you a little fact about this. You guys do know our kids excel, and this was told to me, so I'm not taking credit for this information. And if you want to fact check it, go ahead and do it. But do you know our kids between kindergarten and second grade, they test higher than their peers as far as like math, reading, writing. But when they get to third grade, when it's actual real information and pivotal information for them to do well in school, like actual state testing, our kids are below average in that instance. You feel me? In that stance. Like, do you get that? Like, you understand what I'm saying? So it starts at our youth. They target our youth from whether it's school, whether it's through TV, whether it's through sports, whatever the case may be. It's easily distracting our people from taking them to focus on what's at hand. You feel me? So police brutality is only one issue, but it's a huge issue because it's taking life off the street. It's taking a son a brother, a cousin, you feel me, a nephew, or even a niece, a daughter, you feel me, in that aspect too. So that's the real issue at hand, y'all. We are easily distracted and we can't come together as a community. When we come together as a community, we have people infiltrating our programs, our groups that have, you know what I'm saying, lost people as well in that instance too.
I agree. And just to chime in real quick, like, you know, and I could be honest and say I can be easily swayed sometimes, like, not to be funny, but you know, let Lotto walk across my screen, I'm gonna
Oh
be
yeah, for
easily
sure.
distracted too. But what I think is the biggest thing, and I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Linda Stewart. She said in the comments that a few of us can lead and eventually they will join. It starts with hosting our own town halls and inviting the politicians. They have been ignoring phone calls and emails from the public. I gotta come out and say it now. Once again, I'll take the bullet for it, but it's good to have politicians come out here, but how can we have politicians come on here and speak about what matters when they not even taking their own life into effect? Because I've seen about 3-4 articles, and this isn't just no making stuff up. I wouldn't dare say nothing on here that's just hogwash. There's about 3-4 representatives right now, Ortega, just saying, there's a lot of couple representatives right now that are under heat for personal matters. I won't disclose what those matters are, but for personal matters. So if they can't keep things under control in their own backyard, how can we rely on them to keep things controlled within their profession?
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, they're people too. So I say that to say we have to start thinking of solutions of our own. And I've said this quote like I don't know how many times throughout this podcast, but the price of freedom is death. And Malcolm wasn't wrong with that in the sense. Not to say like in the physical life sense, but you're going to get challenged. It's just going to happen. Every time we go about things the way they want us to, it don't work because it was designed not to work. It was put in place to where ain't nothing going to work for us that they put set in stone. So we got to think outside the box and say, you know what? We done sat up here and looted owls and then set cars on fire, but we didn't march to the mayor's office. We didn't march to certain places. I'll be honest. During the pandemic, I attended a protest in Maryland where in a certain city or town where Alex Haley is from. And for the people that don't know him, he's the guy that created Roots. And they started the protest at his park. Some people weren't satisfied with what city officials were saying. Next thing you know, we took a little old stroll to the sheriff's house. And then he had no choice but to come outside and address the public. That right there is something that personally I haven't witnessed. Yes, it was still a protest, but as you can see, it wasn't just people gathered. They went to the source. Okay, y'all not going to speak about, y'all said the sheriff not outside? You said the sheriff live on Peach Street. We're going to go to Peach Street and have a little chat with him. Next thing you know, he coming out there in civilian clothes having to talk to us. Couldn't avoid it. I feel like the people that have to answer to certain things like this, a lot of the African-American community keep giving them a pass and keep making the target point, the youth is troubled. You got kids having kids. They don't want to learn. They don't want to educate. That could be true.
Yeah.
But those are personal matters that can be handled. It's a double-sided coin. You still got to address the fact that these people who, like I said, our tax dollars pay for what they're supposed to do, and they're not doing anything. Yeah, we're not supposed to solely rely on them because they're not reliable. But like you do got to address these things. Like, what are you here for if you're not going to do anything? At least talk about it. At least address the public's concerns, because y'all come at us, want to lock us up, throw away the key when we go about things wrong. But when we try to go about things the right way, quote unquote, what y'all want us to do, we still don't get the results we're looking for. That's why sometimes that's why I'm not. It's a song that my parents used to listen to. And the guy says in the song, it sometimes seems like you got to do wrong before they notice you. And sometimes that's true. The right decision sometimes is the wrong decision. You got to go against the grain for them to really see you. They're not going to see you until they see you. And I feel like that's
and to your point, Josh, and not to cut you off, right? To Shonda's point, right? No, you're fine. And Shonda's point, she said the real issue is that every race has been conditioned to fear us, stereotype us, and see us as a threat. What's even sadder in that the conditioning has run so deep and got us divided against each other too. So, Shonda, to your point, yes. And this is why I say we have to be, when I say educated, and again, I'm not speaking about degrees, people. I'm talking about educate ourselves on our people's history. So when you look at around our people around the world, so not just in America per se, look at how other races treated our people around the world, and look at the impact we've had in other cultures, whether it's in Spain, in Asia. I'm just saying, look at the impact we had around the world. There's a reason why they try to erase our history, not just in America, y'all. We are people who can really change the outscope of how the landscape of how the world actually is. So yes, they are unknowingly or knowingly coming together as different races to divide our people. Our people are divided because we are put in, they call it crabs in a barrel mentality, however you want to word it. We're put in a box from birth. Okay. When you're put in a box from birth, your only way out is to go against your competition that's next to you. That's how our people are. That's how we're programmed. You feel me? It was like that. Have you ever seen Django when they had the Mandingos fighting in that room? It's the same concept. Like, you're put in a box against your own people without realizing you should be coming together. But I will have to say this: our people have not always been divided. Okay, so when you have instances like the Black Wall Street, when we actually came together, what did they do? They bombed it. It was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you don't know about that, do the research. You feel me? They bombed Black Wall Street when we were coming together, pulling our resources together financially. So our people have been in the mindset to come together and work together. But when you have a government and a system pinpointing when they see success, they will literally do anything and everything in their power to disband that. But it was the Black Panther Party. What happened with that? They literally had you can call them a spy or a rat, however you want to word it, a snitch, whatever the case may be, someone of our kind infiltrate our own organization and take out our leader. You feel what I'm saying? And then if you go to even locally in Philadelphia, y'all know about the Philadelphia bombing in the 80s. You feel me? So regardless of if our people are willing to come together or not, when we decide to come together, they know how to bring us apart. I will speak on this too. The people we put in place, and not just in politics, or whether it's a social media influencer, whether it's somebody in real estate, whether it's somebody in finances, whatever the case may be, when you put people in these positions as well, we have to be mindful that there has been plenty of times we put people of our color in position of power and they've taken advantage of our people. So that is also another unfortunate reality of pulling your resources together, is that we have to have people that we can actually trust, that can actually manage finances correctly and also be transparent with us when things of that nature. You feel me? So it's so many different angles for us to target as a community. I understand. So it's not just a one-all topic and it's a one-all solution. It's never that simple. But that's the whole point of coming together, where we need everybody to be brainstorming different ideas and different solutions in order for us to progress as people. If not, we'll continue to have this conversation 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and may not see no change that we're actually looking for. And yes, and like Linda said, they are being used as puppets. And what does a puppet have? As a hand up, I'm saying they're rear end, and somebody's using them as a ventriloquist. You feel me? Somebody's behind the scenes doing all the talking, and they just have the face or I'm saying, the position of power at that point in time to be giving them information. So it's like that in all levels of government. It's like that in all levels of wherever you're at. You know what I'm saying? State, local, and federal. So however you want to look at it, that's just the truth of the reality. But again, it starts within our household, everyone. So if we know the struggles, what it is like being out there in America, it's not about implementing fear. So I have an 8-year-old son. I don't sit there and tell him, hey, you go out there and, you know what I'm saying, be fearful of. No, it's not about being fearful of police. I just need you to go out there, make sure you lead his house, you respecting our name. You feel me? He's a third, so I'm a junior. So it's about respecting our name and how you represent yourself out there. In a situation like this, where we don't know if the young man was either showing a gun or not to the police, it's just about certain predicaments and positions that our people are put in, where it's a quick life or death situation, where it always shouldn't have to be like that. Now, regardless of somebody's actions, it always shouldn't have to leave in somebody being fatally shot. That's the point of the problem when it comes to police brutality, everyone. It's not about if the cop was to arrest him or illegally detain him. Like we had the issue in New York when it was the stop and frisk issue. You feel me? Where they were stopping teenagers and everybody, and just because it became a problem that the community had to step up altogether. But that was affecting all races. And when it comes to our race in America, we already know we're giving a short end of the stick at a lot of times. But yeah, if you want to call them the new House Negroes, listen. It reminds me again, I referenced the movie Django, because Django is probably the most realist movie you could have in regards to how you could have a free-minded black male, and then a black male who's free, but he has the mental capacity of being behind someone else. You feel what I'm saying? I can't say our white counterparts, because I don't want to put all the blame on them. But we speaking strictly about our community and the growth that it has to have. We got to understand you're always going to have people on both sides of the token. So I'll end there. And Josh, you have anything to respond to that as well?
Yes, I agree. And I feel like the biggest thing in the African American community is the sense of accountability and knowing that, like they say, all what they say, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. It's the same
For sure.
concept. Like, you know, and also not only that, it's the fact to try to put more positivity on this. You can never know enough, right? It's just like we've been saying throughout this whole entire podcast. You have to educate yourself, and that's not just the education you can get in the schoolhouse, but really, like, treat your brain like a plant.
Yeah.
Nurture it. Listen to different things. Listen to different ideologies. Listen to different thought process. Even if it's not something you agree with, as the saying goes, a broken clock can be right twice a day. So this person might not really have anything that you might not agree with at all, but then there might be one thing, or it could be the way that they talk about how, or it could be the way that they talk about something that you don't agree with that might make you think, well, I might not agree with what he says, but his delivery, how he came off and what he's saying, I can see why a person might feel that way. And that's how a healthy conversation starts.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's not about everybody having a difference of opinion. It's about taking those differences in opinions and making them the same. And how you do that is by saying, I feel like this, I feel like this, I feel like this, I feel like this. Chop it up a little bit and be like, you know what? It kind of makes sense what we all are discussing here. Because from the people in the chat to everybody that's been on the panel, including ourselves, we've all said things that you might not agree with. We've probably said things that we do agree with, but we took a little bit of everything and it still gives you the same solution at the end of the day. Because no matter what, nobody wants to see their child gunned down for any reason, no matter what stuff they might be into or if they were just an innocent bystander in the situation. But like you said, the bigger scope of things is, and to be honest, it's like history repeating itself. Because for years upon years upon years, people have always talked about in Delaware how not only Wilmington has its issues with crime and stuff like that, but the actual police departments, I'll never forget. This is what made me really start to question, like, are you guys even voting just because you can vote, or are you even looking into the people who vote? Because when Mayor Williams was the mayor of Wilmington, he literally said in a press conference, he said it verbatim, I don't like doing press conferences because you guys don't like me. He literally said that. And I'm like, is that how a person, well, if there has to be a reason why they don't like you, are you even trying to be liked? It's just a million and one things. And I feel like even when it comes to trying, and I agree, like, trying to make things look a little different, because I always often wondered how there's a lot of people that can hold certain positions for 30, 40, 50 years, and people expect change, but you keep voting for a person who then probably voted against segregation and desegregation years ago. That person is that old to still say that I was a member of Congress or a state representative back then.
Yeah,
and
we
I'm
need our
still
own. We
here
need our own
now.
political party. That's the issue. You feel me? You know how we got independent voters and independent candidates. The issue is that we get divided. But then, if we talking about politics strictly with that, we get divided right there automatically, whether you're Republican or Democrat. I tell people all the time, these people go to the same colleges, so they learn the same law. They just take a side on what side they agree on. You feel what I'm saying? So you gotta look at it from that perspective too. One thing I wanted to mention as well is that we just got to be more unified on the front. You feel me? And guys, I do know and so I do understand we like Mr. Tasha mentioned earlier, that she had to step out. Oh, sorry, leave because due to the being late. So I do understand. Look, we do go live late, so if you do have to step out or leave, the live is on Facebook. It'll be on YouTube, out_stacks. So the live will be there if you guys do have to, leave or anything like that. We appreciate everybody tuning in as well tonight. You guys have been great with the support, great in the engagement. So we definitely appreciate all of that as well. And appreciate you guys just in moving this conversation forward, because that's what we're really trying to do is, yes, we're young, but as you can see, we're passionate about changing our community. And this isn't some front of trying to be like a civil rights activist, nothing like that. No, this is strictly just passion. People, like, I'm passionate. You feel me? When my passion started when Colin Kaepernick took his knee, because that just opened my, I'm just a football fan, but that opened my eyes of how America really viewed our people. You feel me? They look at us as tools. They look at us as people that just do what's told. That's how they view us. And if we just being honest, hey, look, how people view you shouldn't change on how you do your daily actions. You feel me? So we just gotta be more mindful of that. And sometimes when we get a promotion or a job and then we give an additional task at work, you feel what I'm saying? Are they just giving you extra work to keep you there, keep you occupied, and somebody else passes you over? So we all got examples of that in our workspace. You feel me? So just look at it from that lens. And to Tanisha, she said, we've been fighting forever, as in a whole, from the beginning of time, unfortunately. Yes. And again, this is going to be a continuous battle. Because the system we're fighting is also not just fighting us. They, as you can see, we get into wars with other countries for resources, for conquering land, for taking over, you know what I'm saying, to write history in their favor. So when you under somebody like that, that's just how it is. You feel me? So we have to learn to just build within. I'm sorry about that. Build within from the system, y'all. That's what we got to do. You know, so we just got to be sharper here. Like, put our people in position to be more successful. When we talk about success, it can't just be about money and flashy items. It has to be deeper than that. It has to be something that we can actually pass down to our kids and their kids. Something that can actually mean something of value, whether that's in the home values or outside of values. We'll have to find that as a community when we agree on that. But we need community standards and community morals and values that can be passed along to our kids. And that has to start from right now. We can't change the past. The past is already there. But the same, like I showed you statistics, how these police officers are targeting our people, and we account for majority of the deaths, especially black males, but our black women too. Don't feel left out any part of the conversation. You feel me? And again, we may not agree on every talking point. You may feel different on certain topics. I may feel different on certain topics. That's cool. That's the whole point of communication and conversation. Not everybody should be agreeing on every topic. If you're doing that, then you're not having a real conversation. You feel me? So we should be having difference of points of opinions and different point of views. But at the end of the day, we all want the best for our community. So we all should be doing, each of us should be taking a role in that. You feel me? So that's all we got to do. And just take a moment to really see what we can actually put in place for a plan of action. You feel me? I watch older black men on either YouTube or from their old clips from back in the day. You know, from your Dr. Claude Anderson speaking on economics and black financial literacy. And I shot the one guy I seen in person. His name was Sabir Bey. He speaks on all origins of black history altogether. You feel me? He don't say the word black. He calls us Moors, but rather we are Moor, black, whatever the case may be, whether you know your lineage or not. You know, great for you. If you do, if you don't, do some research on it. But long story, what I'm saying is that you have to be educated in all areas. In order to beat the system, you have to know how the system is operating. We can't be in the system and try to change it within, because at the end of the day, those things have to be voted. And if they got majority of the votes, they can clearly just veto your vote. You know what I'm saying? We don't want this bill to pass. We don't want this law to pass. Simple as that. You feel what I'm saying? So there has to be somewhere else for us to implement change. We got people in place. We got to keep putting people in place just to keep it there. But we also just got to look at it from a different perspective sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We are critical thinkers in our own way. We got to be thinking outside the box and a lot of these, for more solutions on these issues. And again, if you guys are new to the stream, these are my thoughts. You feel me? This is how that's how I'm able to think about things. So I don't always, just because I see something wrong, I don't automatically just deem it as wrong. You feel me? I'm always that person. It's not playing devil advocate or anything like that. I really just look at the landscape of everything and just really just try to see details and let everything unfold. You feel me? So I don't jump the gun or anything, and I'm not somebody that's just going to say something to go viral or say something just to grab your attention. That's not me. I'm just a brutal, honest, unfiltered person. But you know what I'm saying? I just know how to relay my message. And again, some people agree with it, some people don't. Again, the unfortunate situation with Kadir Skinner, it's very unfortunate for him to lose his life. But if the body cam footage was to come out and he was in the wrong, then you would hear me say that. If it comes out and he shouldn't have been fatally shot, then you would hear me say that. So I'm not pointing the blame at anyone in the situation. I'm really just speaking on how we can build our morals and values as a community in order for our kids not to be in these positions. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we should be able to go out the same way how I was out Philly this past night and I seen countless races, whether it's white, other people visiting from other countries, out till 4 o'clock in the morning, and nobody gets shot, nobody gets stabbed. Police ain't out there taking people out the club when it's let out. Like the same way how I seen that in Center City, Philly, should be the same reason. Should be the same thing in our neighborhoods. If somebody's running from a dog, it shouldn't lead to somebody getting shot in the back. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't correlate. That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't feel in danger, and there shouldn't be police on corners like that. And something like that is the an incident that happened. It shouldn't just lead to somebody getting shot. That's what I'm basically saying. we should be able to roam our neighborhoods. Hey, you got to act. So the issue is that we got to fix, I guess, crime in our neighborhood or something like that. But in order to get the police out of the neighborhood, something has to change within the neighborhood. So that's another conversation for another night. And we'll speak on that another night, because we ain't going to sit there and try to blame our people for something like this. But long story short is that we just have to do better as a community to put our kids in better position. You feel me? Granted, this young man did not deserve to lose his life. I'm not saying that. But we just got to do better to put our people in position for more empowerment, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You know what I'm saying? We got to do more just to grow. The more we grow, the better off we'll be. And that's evident because it's not just our community that is affected by our police brutality. But I'm tired of seeing our people, we're the ones that's brandished on the media, whether it's the media, social media, the news outlets, whatever. Our faces are out there. Our images are out there. I'm tired of seeing graduation pictures of a young man not being able to even attempt to go live life. You feel what I'm saying? Or rather, somebody in their 30s, like they said in the statistics, from 30 to 44 is the target black male group that's getting killed by police. Those are your fathers, your uncles. You feel me? What we consider the OGs in the family, like people that's supposed to be giving the game to the youth. If they're being taken out, it's the same thing how they took out black fathers out the family, out the households. You feel me? So they target us in all different areas. But our people are still not waking up to see that. You feel me? So like I said, this conversation could come from different angles all over the place. It's not just a one night sit down and solution. It's never going to be that simple. But we just got to be willing to have these tough conversations. Yeah, we can still talk about sports. I'm a sports fan. Yeah, we can still talk about entertainment. I love entertainment, music, all that. But some nights you got to really sit down and hear these type of conversations and go implement the change yourself that next day, not next week, not next month. Tomorrow when you wake up, have a plan of action. How do I make my community better? That's my challenge to you out there. That's my challenge to myself every day. But that's my challenge to y'all out there. How are you going to go make the community better? Are you going to sit here on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, wherever you're at watching this? Or are you going to actually go out there and implement change in your community? You see that young man out there on the street selling waters. Did you buy a water? No. Why not? You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Go support your community right there. Stop worrying about, it's not about money all the time. So understand that. You can go support that young man out there. If he's selling the water, selling the t-shirt, getting social media, go support him. Same with that young lady who got her nail business, who got her hair business. You feel what I'm saying? Who pushing out good, positive messaging. Are you supporting those people? Nah, you're not. Because if you were, we have more people out there that want to do those things. So when you got people that are brainwashed to just do things to go viral or do dumb things to just because it's cool to do, then you're always going to have, it's a ripple effect. You feel what I'm saying? You got to be willing to go out there and support those people that's giving that positivity that you want to see in your community. You want to see those change, support those people. That's all I'm saying. And Josh, you got anything else if you want to say? If anybody else wants to join the live, that's also cool. And like Delaware Angel said, we must come together for a change. That's all I'm saying. Like, we've been saying that for a long time. But in 2026, like, for instance, I go out there, if I tell people that I'm doing something, you believe it or not, it be white people, Asians, whatever, Hispanics, they'd be more supportive of what I want to do compared to my own people. I got black men. You feel me? Look at me. I'm not out here mean mugging nobody. They mean mug me when I just walk up to them and ask them a simple, like, hey, take 30 seconds to just talk to you about what I'm doing. You feel what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like that. Like, nah, bro. Like, you should be able to go talk. I should be able to go talk to another black male out there and not feel like he gonna mean mug me because I want to sit there and have a conversation with a brother. Like, what are you doing, bro? Yeah, we gotta put that defensive mentality away and really just be out there and be open. I'm not gonna keep going on a rant because I'll get real passionate. So I ain't gonna do it like that. So Josh, if you have anything else to say, that's cool.
Yes,
and if
sir.
anybody else wants to speak, again, I'll put the link in the chat. If anybody else wants to come on the panel, if not, go ahead and enjoy this live. And again, the lives do happen late, guys. So if you have to leave, you got work or anything like that, or if you got work in the morning, hey, by any all means, you can stay and enjoy the live. Again, the live will be on YouTube at Mal_Stacks. It'll be on my Facebook, Mal Stacks, and also Twitch and Kick as well. If you're on those platforms, the live will be there. So anywhere else, if you have to do something tonight, I understand. But we'll continue this conversation, and I'll let Josh go ahead and give his spill.
Yes, sir. And another thing that I feel like we got to address, and I feel like it's stupid that we got to address this, but we got to address it. When it comes, it's bad enough that these things happen more and more each day, right? And this is no shade to the young man that this is not this situation, but I do want to say this, because there is a young man. I won't disclose his name, but he is catching a lot of heat for Um, he filmed the unfortunate situation with the other with the 16-year-old that lost his life the other day in the city, and he got a lot of flack for filming that. And one thing that I do want to say, and I gotta say it for what it is. We got to. It's bad enough that we can go online and watch videos of war and people getting executed in other countries and things like that. But why do we got to always film our trauma? Because I'm not gonna lie, it's this one particular video that I used to watch. I forgot who it was, but they were talking. It was like a mixed crowd, and it was like probably like the late '80s, early '90s. I gotta find it. I know it's somewhere. And the one lady asked the black lady in the audience, and they was talking about slavery and stuff, and she said that the Holocaust might be the greatest tragedy ever filmed, but slavery was the greatest tragedy that was never filmed. You see the pictures, but there ain't no video. You know what I mean? You can't YouTube and see a video of a slave picking cotton on a plantation or getting whooped. There's images. So I
Yeah.
say that to say, why are we making it such a normal thing to videotape these tragic events when it's already tragic enough? The
Because
family is
that's
already
fair.
dealing with.
That's fair, bro. I'll answer that question for you right now. That's fair. The same reason why you able to see, you can go back and watch Martin Luther King and them marching on the streets and they getting hosed down. They showed us that when we was in school. That's fair. That's all. That's what I'm speaking on. That's propaganda. That's what it's made for. It's the same how when we grew up, we were learning about segregation. Hold on, my son's like, yo, what's good, Cam? Thanks for joining the stream, son. Thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to that, right? So it's fair tactics. So that's what they do, and that's what they did in the past. They show you those videos, they show you that because it's going to implement fair here. So when you see a person where now it's making them seem like they're more make you feel inferior to them, that's what it's all about. You feel me? So that's literally what it's about. It's fair tactics. We don't control the media. We don't control the news outlets. We don't control any of those things. The radio stations, none of that. So whatever is approved by the airwaves is what they want us to hear. You feel what I'm saying? So those messages, when you turn on the news, for instance, like this, right? When you watching the game, especially if it's on ABC or NBC, right? Soon as the game ends, it literally goes to the news. Like, literally, as the game ends, the news broadcast comes up. They're gonna mention somebody being murdered, kidnapped, something. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be a person of color. You feel me? And then it's gonna be was either murdered, kidnapped, or they looking for somebody for doing a crime because they done murdered, kidnapped, or did something illegal. You feel what I'm saying? That's tactics. So that's what I'm saying. That's the system we going against. You feel me? We had I'm gonna go up to see their name correct, but I believe it was Delaware Angels said that we had to get a bigger message like off of social media. I agree, but when it comes to even social media, that is our way to get the message out there because everybody's on their phones nowadays. Like if you got a young child, you'll go to a doctor's that tell you to minimize their screen time to an hour because they understand phones are addictive. But at this point in time, we got teenagers, our young adults, even the older adults are on their phones or tablets or watching TV through streaming services. So this is our way to get our message out there to them. If we weren't on social media, we would not have this amount of people even tuning in on live. If we just went and said, "Yo, we gonna meet up tonight at such and such. We need everybody to come out tonight." You feel what I'm saying? So we have to be on social media because that's where all the users are at. You feel me? If we're not out
I
there,
agree.
if we're not out there doing this tonight, then y'all would have been watching something else on your phone during this time frame, during this hour and a half that we've been live. You feel me? So we have to be on social media because that's where everybody is at. That's where the attention span is at. So again, we are fighting something that's deeper than just, hey, don't do this because these are the consequences of your actions. Like Josh said, why are these things happening? Because these are fear tactics. Remember, they used to bring up the what was that? What movie to bring out in class? You know, used to bring they will the TV out. Like My Friend Martin. Remember that? Feel me? They show you that show when you're in class because you thinking your white counterparts are someone that, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be cool with for a long time. Then they show you that, hey, there's racism out there that you know nothing about if you were born past these errors. You feel what I'm saying? So they show you this as you're at those ages to get you to understand something, understand your place. That's what it is. And I'm not saying this for y'all, for us to do it, but I'm just letting you know the message behind it is for you to stay in your place. You feel me? We show you videos of you being hosed, dogs being let on you. You can't drink out of water fountain. And then even at that point in time, one thing, I'm gonna show you this video. and this is what I mean as far as it's a lot deeper than just it's a lot deeper than just what we looking at on the landscape of things. And for me, I found this out when I was at Delaware State University. So I'm gonna show you this. I'm not gonna show you all the full video, but I'm gonna just show you the concept of why you need to understand why we have to keep educating our youth and keep educating our people. I'm not gonna show you the whole video, so don't worry about that. But I'm gonna just let you read this title and look at the date of this. And this is before desegregation, y'all. So this is 1954. I'm gonna show you on screen and look at what it says on here real quick. Oh wait, not this one. Sorry about that. Let me back out of that real fast. Let me bring this back up, and then you guys will see it right here. Let me bring this on screen. Feel me? What's that say right there? The Secret of Selling the Negro, 1954. If you've never seen this video, go watch this. Go watch this. Hey, I'm not giving y'all something to make you look at these people different, but this is how they view you. You know why? Because this has been in place before you even understood what even a credit card or what getting a mortgage was, what getting a auto loan was, before you understood what credit is, right? You didn't know about this in 1954. We didn't know anything about this because we were still segregated. You feel me? But these people already had this in place. Because once we got segregation in 1968 or whenever that civil rights movement and stuff happened, you feel me? This is already in place. So if you've never seen this video, I found this video when I was 18 years old. But once I seen this video, it made me look at everything different in America. So if you've never seen this video, I'm 28. I was 18. That was 10 years ago. But that character gave me everything I need to know about America and the country that I'm in and how to operate after that point. But this right here will show you what they're actually doing. You feel me? So it's deeper than just police brutality and having politicians in office and all that. Nah, it's way deeper than that. This right here is showing you how your finances work. You feel me? That's what they target. How you spend money. Where you spend your money at? Who you spending your money with? Are you keeping up with the Joneses? You feel what I'm saying? This is all proper. I say it's all propaganda, but it's all planned. None of this is by accident. Understand that. So we dealing somewhere deeper. Like we're not dealing with dumb people here, y'all. Again, when you at war, war is more than just shooting missiles and bullets. It's strategy, it's tactics. So we under a thumbprint of somebody technically lost a war to, being conquered by. You feel me? Understand. Look at that. The secret of selling the Negro ain't about selling black people in the slave trade either. This is about your spending habits and how you spend your money, your time with your kids, all that. But this is 1954. And look where we at in 2026. You watch this video on YouTube, I guarantee you're going to be like, oh, snap. Okay, I didn't know about this. Nobody would know about this unless it's brought to your attention. That's all I'm saying, y'all. I'm not saying nothing else that's new in the world, because this video is 72 years old. You feel me? That's what I'm saying. So I'm not out here to break the will or break the cycle by any means. I'm here to educate you on something that you should know about, because if you have young black men or young black women in your family, you should show them this video. And if you're older person or not, you need to watch this video yourself too. And just see how your life is lived and understand that this is what they've been implementing this whole time against us. Everything, yo. This is about your credit, how you balance a checkbook, how you have bank accounts, how you get a mortgage, how you get a car loan, everything, credit cards, what schools you put your kids in. 20-minute video. If you could watch a whole episode of Love Island or Law and Order, you could watch a 20-minute video on how they really implement a system on your people. That's what I'm gonna say on here. My bad, Josh. I just have to show him real quick. I get real passionate about this stuff, so I ain't just out here just rambling just to ramble. Yeah, I can hear you, man. But I'm just letting y'all know you need to go watch that video.
On my end, but you can hear me good though.
You can hear me.
Yeah, no, that video, I was saying it the whole time, and my mic was acting up. I've seen that video plenty of times, throughout life growing up. I actually like that YouTube channel, Real Black. That's a real good YouTube channel.
It is.
That's where I watch a lot of my the Dick Gregory interviews at. He has a lot of them. He interviewed him a lot. Yeah. But to say one thing that I did want to say that I feel like is important if I don't get a chance to say anything else, I feel like that the biggest thing is that a lot of the African American, like for example, I feel like the powers that be, the people that are, the higher ups, whether it's an official, the police, whatever you want to call it to be, I feel like for them, it's like they're used to like, okay, this is happening as a response. They're going to go out there and protest. let's get X amount of cops out there to make sure they don't do da. The reason why
For
ain't
sure.
nothing moving forward is because it's like a Jedi mind trick. It's like they're just like they're looking at it like they're just doing to their own communities, their own surroundings, what we done to them all these years. So we're just gonna sit there and let them tear up their own community and do what they want to do and call it a day. We might arrest some people, we might not. Who cares? Easy day for us. We've never brought nothing different to the table ever. It's been the same thing, same thing for the longest, just repackaged differently. And it's to the point now where it's like, and this might not be 100%, but it's like we're making the work easier for them. We're making
Correct.
the corruption that they instill upon our people and our generations that came before us, present and after us, we're making it all easy for them to do the same things they've been doing year after year. That's why I feel like a lot of things people really do get afraid and scared of change, but you can't be.
Facts. It's
You
uncomfortable,
can't.
bro. It's uncomfortable.
I feel like now you're good, bro. You can go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying. I was agreeing with you. I'm just saying it's uncomfortable. You can finish up. I ain't even cut you off.
No, definitely. And it's like, you can't be afraid of. It's like, it's like, and it's like, it's just like if you're playing in a movie, but they told you before you started shooting or filming the movie that they told you, what's going to happen. It's your
Yeah.
job to just deliver it. You read the script to know what the movie is going to entail, every twist and turn, how it's going to start and finish.
Right.
Now your job is to carry it out in such a way to where you got to make the audience feel like you got to make the audience feel like that they forgot that you're just acting. You got to make them feel that. And I feel like by bringing anything that's above what has been put in front of us is a start. It's definitely a start. And I feel like the point that you made earlier, I feel like
My bad. Go ahead, bro.
The point that you made earlier, when you had said that when it comes to the youth and stuff, because I think I might have said it wrong, but I also agreed with what you said too. But one thing I feel like is like, yes, you can sit there and say people got to educate themselves, because of course you have to, but regardless of that, and I feel like the biggest thing now it came back to me. The biggest thing is, I feel like the thing that they are afraid of, just like you've seen glimpses and pieces of it, like Joy said earlier with the Black Panthers, they're afraid of us just agreeing on some stuff and then handling everything else how it comes. That's what they're truly afraid. They know that, but they already know that we don't get along like that. We're going to find something to argue about. We're going to find something to quarrel about to where it's going to divide us. So but they know that why do you think they try to infiltrate, or not try, why do you think they did infiltrate the Black Panthers and all those things? Because they knew when we just agreed to disagree and just try to put all of our points together to make one huge one, they knew we was a problem in a good way. Like, we was a problem for them. But being the fact that we can't agree on stuff and try to put everybody's solutions together to make one big solution is the reason why things aren't moving forward.
Yeah.
And then, as a safety net, people want to just say, well, let's go out and protest because it's our rightful, our right, and it's the law. We're allowed to go out there and what that ain't. We've seen Martin march from Montgomery to Selma.
Right, but those
Not
people,
saying that it didn't have no thought
that's
behind
the
it,
examples
but
they were given though. Like
like what,
examples they were given.
you seen what Martin had to deal with. So it's like, that's why, and I'm not saying this to go against any of his teachings, but that's why I kind of lean towards on certain topics more towards Malcolm said is, I'm not out here to inflict violence, but if you bring violence to me, you're getting that right back. Because if I'm not harming you, you shouldn't harm me. And if you feel like it's okay for you to harm me, then I'm going to feel the same way
You
in
gotta
return.
defend yourself.
It's
By
like
all
tomato.
means. Like, yeah,
So I just feel like everybody been saying throughout the night, the African American community just has to really come together and and shout out Rob, like he said, uncomfortable conversations have to have. You're not
Yes,
going to
sir.
have comfort. You're never going to taste a inkling of comfort until you have a whole cup full of uncomfortable, and that's true. And it's just one of those things to where people just got to quickly understand that things ain't going to be comfortable, but in order for you to get to comfort, you have to go through uncomfort, and that's uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable situations, uncomfortable scenarios. Because think about it, they made us feel uncomfortable for our whole entire existence. So why are we afraid of something that's already been instilled within us? Yeah, it's not the right thing, but this is something that we already immune to. So why are we running away from something that's already been here when we could take that very same thing, turn it around and make it into a positive and start to bring change? Rome wasn't built in a day, so this isn't going away in a day. But there is great strides that can be made today in this very moment to make this matter, not just this situation, but the whole matter move forward. Because accountability goes both ways. Because we can, you were right, bro. We cannot hold them accountable if we're not holding ourselves accountable to the fact that a lot of us are miseducated, misguided, don't want to learn, don't want to do what's
and
necessary.
don't want to
So I
listen,
feel
bro.
like
That's the it start with listening first. Like you can't learn to communicate without listening. You feel me? Like you gotta be if you're in the call center, you know I'm talking about active listening. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Rob, too, for that message. Yeah, and I'll go right back to what you're saying, Josh. But yeah, appreciate it, Rob. And that's all we're trying to do is just give you guys something to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? So that video is just a small piece of what this, you know what I'm saying, this talk show, this platform is bringing. It's bringing people awareness on everything. You feel me? So yeah, we're educating right now on our people and everything in regards to that nature. You feel me? So it's very important to watch that video. And may have to watch it twice. You feel me? Because some of the information may be skipped over. You may like miss certain things and things of that nature. So it's very important to watch that video. But yes, that's what we're just trying to do here on this platform. Is to have thought-provoking conversations that are positive at the end of the day. Again, we may disagree on certain things or certain tactics, but at the end of the day, it's just to see our people come together and be supportive of one another. And at the same time, not creating divisiveness within our other communities. You feel me? Like I'm not out here preaching hate towards any other community or divisiveness towards any other community. We just gotta learn to live with other people in our spaces. That's cool. But if you have someone of our skin color that you see out there doing something positive, be more willing to support those people because you'll have more people. Understand this. The same way how everybody wants to be a streamer in regards to a Kai Sinet or I Show Speed, because they see them being supported and being plastered everywhere in regards to being a successful, that's entrepreneurship. You feel me? Being a successful streamer is very hard to do. But the fact that those two individuals are one of the major popular streamers out there, you'll get yourself like an Adrian Bronner or, you know what I'm saying, but him and Dean, you feel me? So, and all the other countless people who are now going into the streaming business because the lack of views on television has now forced everybody to come onto the streaming platforms. But long story short, what I'm saying is that if we continue to support people who are pushing positivity, having fun, engaging every community together, showing them that we can be loving and caring and also respectful and things of that nature, you'll change the outlook on how people view us. Oh, for sure. And it's not, you know what I'm saying, trying to make people respect us. Respect is earned the same way as given. You feel me? So it's a two-way street. Don't go out there and do things for people who aren't doing things for you. That's exactly the point of this message. But we just gotta support more of our people who are pushing positivity out there and understand negativity is always going to be there. It's life. Life is uncomfortable, no matter if you rich or not. You feel me? So I don't know about you guys, but life has been uncomfortable. It's not every day is uncomfortable, is what I'm saying. But we have our ebbs and flows. You feel me? So just understand that's just life in general. Like we got our dark days and we got our bright days. You feel me? It's all the same niche sayings that you can always say. But long story short is that we just gotta be more supportive of people who are looking to push positivity out there and want to bring our community together. Enough of the divisiveness and all the other dumb stuff. Like people that be arguing over, you know what I'm saying, I got a better hat than you or a better car than you. Like, what are we talking about here? But we got real issues at hand. You feel me? Like, bro, we need to be talking about our economics and more stuff. You feel me? Like, yeah, like we got other things that will entertain us, but we got real important issues at hand. You feel me? Like, that's just where my brain be at. And then I talk about everything. You feel me? Whether it's entertainment, sports, it can be dating, relationships. I don't care what it is, but I want to have uncomfortable conversations with people in regards to those topics too, because you just provoking thoughts in people. You may change how somebody thinks, or they may change how you think. My goal at the end of every conversation is to leave with a positive impact. Like, you hear what I'm saying? Leave with a positive impact. I don't care. See, I don't argue with people. I haven't had an argument in 5 years. You feel me? That's just a peace of mind thing. But long story short is that because I don't surround myself with people who will first get me to that point to argue. And if somebody's in a situation, I'm automatically I'm either de-escalating myself or I'm separating myself from the issue, or I'm going to de-escalate that situation. You will never hear me argue with somebody because it's not worth my time. And I say it's not worth my time. I'm a positive person. That's what I'm here on this earth to do. spread positivity, spread love. You feel me? Spread awareness. That's my goal. Anything else outside of that is a waste of time for me. So I'm looking to just have conversations that's going to leave a positive impact on people and myself included. So every conversation I'm having, I just want to learn something. I don't care if it's a small little fact or something, you know what I'm saying, that can be useful or not. But at the end of the day, as black men, as black women, and as men and women of this country, whether you black, white, Asian, whatever the case may be, Hispanic, doesn't matter. You should be having that same mindset. Push more positivity out there, y'all. The more positivity you push out there, the more positivity you're gonna see in the communities. The more negativity you continue to support, and I'm not gonna say no shows names, but that all that it ain't that type of talk show tonight, you feel me? But listen, the stuff that we do support, and we all know what it is, it'd be a lot of BS. You feel me? I'm gonna keep it PG. It'd be a lot of BS that we support, but that's why support is out there because we supporting it. The more positivity you support out there, the better off you'll be. That's all I'm gonna say. And sorry about that, Josh. You probably have to rejoin the stream. It's the StreamYard, bro. I know it's this browser. This joint be tweaking
Oh,
sometimes.
good, brother. I just
Yeah,
had
sorry
one
about that,
last thing.
man.
I'm still gonna be in here. I just want to close out real quick so I
Oh
can
no,
get
you
back
good.
to
Yeah,
the
we
work.
about to
Yes,
close out
sir.
anyway. We hit our
Yes,
2 hour
sir.
mark. But if anybody else wants to come on, that's fine. But if
So
not, we good.
what I wanted to say to close this out and to give my thanks and everything. I'll say this, and this is just if anybody in here, if anybody sees, if anybody's watching this, that is a Wilmington resident, I'm gonna just say this: when Wilmington was being labeled Murder Town USA, for us coming out, that was our early years in high school, the early
Facts.
2010s, our first half of high school. I
Mhm.
remember vividly that Jada and Will, their production company, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, their production company, Overboard, they wanted to bring a show to Wilmington where I believe Jada Pinkett Smith was a detective,
Mhm.
literally Wilmington police, and they wanted to showcase what was going on in Wilmington, because for the amount of people in Wilmington and the amount of shooting incidences and shooting homicides we had during that stretch was
Yeah.
alarming. That's where at one point in time we was labeled one of the smallest dangerous cities in America.
Yeah, like per
I
capita was
remember that.
crazy. Yeah. I was thinking
And
at one point.
yep, and I remember that
Mhm.
the city government and basically they was like, yeah, no, we're not going to allow you to bring a show here. And think about this, that could have had to, even though Baltimore has its rough patches and stuff, it could have still had the same effect like The Wire did in Baltimore, or like The Corner did in Baltimore, bringing
Mhm.
um worldwide attention to what's going on, and also at the same time bringing positivity by letting the youth, letting the residents of Wilmington see celebrities, because who knows who they would have casted in that show. See some of your favorite actors or actress get to really, like, they talk to you, you talk to them about what really goes on, all of
Mhm.
those things. And that could have been a negative and a positive. But I felt like that could have started something different, because it gave Delaware a taste of Hollywood, in the sense of, okay, they're bringing a show here to us. And
Yeah.
then what it was highlighting is important. And the fact that you got people who we've all watched growing up on the silver screen, in our neck of the woods, talking about what happens in our neck of the woods, just like the
Mhm.
Wires and the Corners of the world, that would have brought a difference. That would have brought a different viewpoint of things. That would have brought it to a national scale. And I feel like that right there should have been a tell-all in the fact, like, yeah, if they wasn't even going to try to bring something to women's that could have brought in jobs, could have better helped address situations,
Mhm.
and they still deny that, that lets you know where their thought process is at. And
Right.
you can do with that what you will. But I will say this, and to everybody that has chimed in, and just like Rob said, a lot of humans, some are ill-minded, and like he said, but leadership is important. And even if it's not leadership in the sense of just politics or important places, be a leader in your life. Be a leader amongst your
Facts.
friends. Be a leader.
Facts.
If you know that you have friends that like your ideology of things, they like to talk to you about things of substance. Like, shout out to my boy Caleb. He is a real as I call, like, a political junkie. We talk about all of these things, and we would have to. I would love for you to have him on one of these
For
type
sure.
topics one day, because he has an amazing, extensive outlook on politics, and even some. And I ain't gonna lie, me and him have had some rough conversations in the last couple of days to weeks about everything in regards to, like, his viewpoint on a lot of things. But having people like that in us, and who are really talking about things that are tough to talk about, because a lot of these people where things are happening to, you might know somebody that knew them. They could have been
Facts.
somebody that you know. And all of those things, no matter who the person is, the life that they live is not positive. Like the situation as of now, it's not positive. A life was lost, regardless of where it came from. It just added on to the
Mm-hmm.
already piling up list of homicides, and knowing that this homicide, regardless of what happened, this homicide is at the hands of the Wilmington Police Department because an
Facts.
officer killed him. So they're on a microscope. But I want people who's listening to understand, you see what's going on, but these things have been going on. Take these things, instill it in your brain, like you said. Now you know that this could be somebody's wake up call to like, oh snap, like things ain't
Yeah.
always what it seems when it comes to the people that's supposed to be here to protect and serve. Now that you know that, what comes next? What are you going to do? How are you going to go about that?
Right.
And
And
I
that's our
feel like
challenge. That's the challenge, bro.
it is, and I just want to say, like, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Specifically, just real quick, I want to give a shout out to my boys Pat Cree, everybody that I sent it to, that have engaged with it, shared
Mm-hmm.
it, tuned in. Appreciate everybody in the comments as well. Especially big shout out to Joy and Mr. Booker for being on the panel, and to you too, bro, for opening up your platform to us and allowing us to come have this conversation, because
Yes, sir.
I feel like you are one of those people that has always been like a vessel in the community in the sense of talking. We talk about sports, we talk about life, and I feel like no matter how uncomfortable conversations are, I feel like you are one of those ones that is right on it, in the sense of, like, a lot of people might not really see it, but like you're like you're like the people's news person. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
relate the news, you talk about what's going on, but you do it from a personal perspective that leaves the mind wondering, well, we do got to do something. This isn't, people, you could get, like you said, turn on the news, a person dead, person got shot, person got killed. That's not personable enough. It
Facts.
has to be, it has to be the point to where you have to sit there and really analyze, like, okay, this is not just news I'm reporting. This is a problem I'm reporting.
For sure,
And
bro.
reporting news is like the Dow Jones is down 15%. That's news.
Mm-hmm.
A 19-year-old shot in the back running away from the police, possibly armed, isn't news. That is a problem.
Facts.
And people got to separate the fact from things just being things and from things really being things. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest thing right there, is the fact that a lot of these things are problems, and they're recurring problems. They, like a revolving door, keeps coming back and keeps coming back. Gotta address the problem and figure out the solution to it. Because, like I said you have an 8-year-old son, I have a 9-year-old daughter. And like I said, she doesn't have a positive outlook on police because of things she's seen with her own 2 eyes. And for a
Mm-hmm.
9-year-old to not have a positive opinion on something that we grew up and we know, what do you want to be when you grow up? A firefighter, a police officer?
Yeah.
Kids aren't
That's what my
saying
son
that these
said.
days.
I say, yeah,
Kids aren't
you
saying
smart
that
as
these
hell to that.
days.
You want to do that stuff, huh?
And yeah, like, kids aren't saying that
Yeah.
these days. They might say some out of pocket, I want to be like my brother, and their brother could be knee deep in the streets. And then you sit there and be
Facts.
like, so I say this right here, if anybody takes anything from this, and I'm done, use this as a teachable moment. Teach yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you know somebody that is the same age as him, you go talk to them. If you know somebody that's a teenager about to be an adult, you sit them. I don't care if it's a young boy you see in your community, even if it's a nephew. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
I do it today. I got
Fact.
friends
That's a
who got
fact.
nephews that are teenagers, and I'll talk to them. If I hear that they doing something crazy, I'll pull them to the side, like, what is you doing? And the one thing I
Mm-hmm.
say is, I'll say a bullet has no name on it, nor does it have an age limit. So if you want to be out, it's bad enough that we got to deal with certain police and certain other entities that already have a red
Mm-hmm.
dot on us, but we can't do that to ourselves. We all we got. And how are we going to move forward if we can't come together ourselves against, because we know those people don't like each other, but they know how to fake it.
Yeah.
So we got to just teach ourselves knowledge, 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 knowledge. Teach, 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 teach the people around you, teach yourself, instill whatever you can in your brain, no matter what it is, because
Mm-hmm.
that is something that they can't take from you. And that's something that you don't got to have money for. It's free. So thank
Facts.
you to everybody that tuned in tonight. Appreciate you again, bro. Much love for you putting this together. and this is definitely a great step in the right direction. And I
Mhm.
appreciate you for having me on.
I appreciate it, Josh. Hey, man, look, thanks again for coming on tonight, bro. You was definitely one of the pillars on as far as getting people to come out tonight, as far as pushing the message out. Again, we spoke earlier just as far as like what we were going to talk about tonight. And Josh did a lot of the footwork. You feel me? I was out handling my own stuff. He was behind the scenes, reaching out to people, reaching out to pages on Facebook, other social medias. He made the flyer tonight, so definitely shout out to Josh. You could tell somebody is passionate about something, guys. When you know what I'm saying, it's a conversation that will never end because it's a conversation that can't end. That's the whole point of our live tonight. So again, thank you, Josh. Thank you to everybody that supported tonight as well. Rob, to your point, hey, you're gonna have people who are ill-minded out there, but we definitely got more leaders than followers in our community, and we definitely got to be able to put our leaders in position for them to be more confident in themselves. You feel me? So, and like you said, forever a colonial. That's the mindset we got to have everywhere, y'all. And our colonials, we stick together. You know what I'm saying? William Penn alumni, we stick together for sure, because our group is so big, being one of the biggest public schools in Delaware. Our support network, our group network is there. You feel me? So Rob, definitely thank you for that message, man. It did not go unnoticed. I was letting Josh finish up. I want to say thank you for that message right there, and for sure, Forever Colonial. We're live every night, guys, as well on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Kick. Not TikTok tonight because I had to use my phone to respond to you guys in the comments, but usually I will go live on TikTok as well. Again, it's Mal_Stacks on all platforms besides Twitch. Twitch is HHX Mal. If you do like content like this, you can subscribe or follow the channel. Look, we cover topics about everything. You feel me? Tonight was a very passionate night. We had guests on the panel, but how I like to view it as we'll have guests on every night as long as you guys click the link in the comments. You can jump on a live, come on live, give your thoughts, give your opinions on a topic that we're having at hand. You feel me? That's what this is all about. That's why I named it police brutality, because that was our main topic, but it's about community building. Community building is so much more than just, you feel me, us going out there rallying or protesting together. It's about how we support one another. And again, it doesn't gotta be monetary thing like that. We look at support so much about money and values when it's not even about those things. You feel me? It's really just about overall support. Can you, again, I'll go back to reference the kid on the street. Did you go out there and actually support him in his dreams? You feel me? When you see a 19-year-old lose his life to something like that, that is something that is, you gotta look at a 19-year-old in all aspects of life. They didn't even get a chance to even go do anything in life yet, or get a chance to try to do anything. So we gotta be a lot more mindful of the positions our kids are in and the positions we put our kids in. You feel me? So we have to do better as an overall community to put our kids in better position. And that's all I'm saying. And again, this young man lost his life due to police brutality. That's not something that you can control as a parent. You feel me? So there's no victim blaming there. There's not no victim mentality. That's just the truth. You feel me? I'm all about truth, statistics, and facts. That's it. Like anything else outside of that, numbers don't lie, people. So when numbers show you that our people are targeted by police, we ain't just out there saying that. We just showing you the truth. And you feel me? And like me and Josh was speaking about earlier, our youth is affected by these things because they don't look at the police the same way how they should be viewed. But again, you gotta be honest with them. Not every police officer is bad, and not every police officer is good. You're gonna have your good people, you're gonna have your bad people. That's in all walks of life. So use this as a teaching moment just to be a lot more transparent with your kids. But you also gotta be the time of night. Kids got to be in the crib, man. That's another thing too. Like this incident happened at 11 o'clock at night. That's not necessarily really late. You feel me? So 11 o'clock at night, that shouldn't have happened. Regardless of what transpired, running from a dog, whatever the case may be, should not lead to somebody being fatally shot. So 11 o'clock at night is not something to be worried about. I'm talking about incidents that happen at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. We got to do better at keeping our youth in the house at those times. That will prevent from those post-midnight incidents happening. You feel me? That's what I mean. But as parents, I'm a parent myself. We just gotta be a lot more involved in our kids and just keeping it. It's not a leash on them or being a helicopter parent. We don't want to, you know what I mean, monitor everything that our kids do in that aspect. We just got to keep a closer eye on the activities that they're doing. That's all I'm saying. So my message to the parents out there: continue to be involved in your kids' life, whether they're 18 or older or 18 and younger. Be involved in their daily activities. You know what I'm saying? Just be a lot more engaged with those activities to see what's going on. That will definitely help us out in that situation too, because it doesn't, not only does it help them out, you're supporting your child regardless of what they're doing. And you feel me? Support goes so much further than our people really think about, but it definitely is something that we need to keep pushing that message of support your kind, support one another, y'all. So again, if you see that young lady out there who wants to be a nail technician or wants to do hair or wants to open up her own salon, run her own business, she want to go into real estate or go into sales, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, support her. Same to young man who wants to go out there and not just sports. If he wants to do anything, come be a doctor, he want to be a lawyer, he wants to, you know what I'm saying, run his own shop, barber shop, or it's a mechanic shop, whatever the case may be, support that vision for them too. We guys gotta be in a more of a mindset to support our community in their dreams. You feel me? The more we support their dreams and values, the better off we'll be as people moving forward. That's all I'm saying to y'all. So again, tonight was a great stream. We had a lot of people come on and speak as well. And we are getting past that closer to our 2 hour mark. So we're in the live at 2 hours. So I'll just do my closing remarks as well. Again, my name is Kamal Floyd. I go by Miles Stacks. The platform is to bring awareness to diabetes. I'm a type 1 diabetic myself. So I create content just to bring awareness to diabetes and overall health to improve people's daily lives. You feel me? So a lot of my messaging will be about diabetes awareness. But it's not just that. We create content about everything. So like tonight, how we had conversations on police brutality and community building. Tomorrow we'll have another topic as well. So if you like this content, be sure to follow the page, subscribe as well to the YouTube channel, or follow our platform that you're watching tonight as well. And hey, that's all I ask for, because you'll be intrigued by this content, because we do content like this every night. These conversations happen every night. We have uncomfortable conversations every night, not just uncomfortable conversations, but thought-provoking conversations. Because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's all about leaving that positive impact on an individual. You may change somebody's way of thinking just because you voiced your opinion. That's all this platform is there for. That's all this platform is here for, to give people another thought process. You feel me? You may think one way, but when you leave this conversation, I'm hoping you're thinking, you don't gotta change your whole way of thinking, but just think of something differently or think outside the box. How can you be better? How can I be better? If you got any advice for me as well, hey, leave advice in the comments. You can message me on whatever platform you're on and send the advice to me. Or if you want something talked about, send a topic as well, and I'll be sure to include it in our next live too. So again, we go live daily. 9:30 Eastern time is when we'll be live. Again, for my folks who is a little bit later in the evening, it's only because I get off work a little bit later in the day. So if I get an earlier schedule, then I'll be able to go live earlier. But at the time being right now, we go live every day, 9:30 Eastern time. Weekends included. Weekends we go live just at, could be any time. So that could be a midday stream. You may see me gaming sometimes on here. The game is just another way to broaden our audience to get the message out there. You feel me? So that's a little just free promo. If you like the game, or if you like sports, or if you like entertainment, we got our nights for that as well. But tonight was a very important topic for us to have, because it's very important for us to continue to build as a community. Not only that, speak on issues that are prevalent in our day-to-day lives. You feel me? So we need to be mindful of that this isn't going to just change tomorrow night. It's not. So we got to be mindful when we wake up tomorrow, have that same passion and energy. I have that same passion every day, and I've had that same passion since I started my freshman year at Delaware State. That was in 2016. That was 10 years ago. When I found out really more about our history in America, that's when I became passionate about this. You feel me? I just don't want to be a politician, and I don't want to be in politics in general. You feel me? I don't want to limit myself to what I can and can't say, and I don't want to be out there and put in a box of, you know what I mean, we'll keep that for another day. You feel me? That's all I'm saying, y'all. So this is more of a free way for me to speak on topics and not have to worry about certain things. That's why I don't push hate towards anybody either, because it's not about pushing hate. It's about educating y'all, to educate our kids, educate our youth, educate our future. Even our older generations that's older, they can learn something from us. Our young folks just got to learn to voice our opinions and get our thoughts out there without always having to be filled with profanity or where it's targeting somebody's personal feelings. You feel me? Learn to speak and communicate. Like I said, work on your active listening skills. That's what I had to work on myself. You feel me? I learned that from working in the call center. So that's why I say active listening. So if you know, it's something big you gotta do when you're in customer service. That's how I'm able to get better with communicating with people. You feel me? Able to actually listen to what they're saying and respond to what they're saying, while still giving my own thoughts on what's going on too. So that's all, y'all. Again, listen, we are going to end it live in a few minutes. If anybody else had any remaining comments they want to put in the comments, cool. If not, I'm doing my closing remarks. Again, my name is Kamal Floyd. I go by Miles Stacks. If you like this content, listen, we go live every night at 9:30 Eastern time on all platforms. So whatever platform you're viewing on right now, just hit that follow button or subscribe to the YouTube channel. And thank you guys for your continuous support tonight. Listen, we are pushing out all content, all topics. Again, it's to bring awareness to overall health and fitness. I'm a diabetic, so I push a lot of diabetes awareness programs and a lot of diabetes awareness for educational videos. So if you know somebody who's a diabetic, refer them to the YouTube channel. I dropped a video the other day on the 5 things, do's and don'ts of what diabetics should do and shouldn't do, and things that we need to worry about overall, from physical activity to our diet to everything. You're monitoring your blood sugar, managing your blood sugar, monitoring it, and also when you take your medication, what you should be doing, stuff like that. You feel me? So this is all in all just to give people a different version of what a diabetic can do out there and not limit ourselves in that aspect. So again, I'm gonna close it out here. Thank you guys for tuning into the live tonight. We'll be live tomorrow night. So it's Friday night tomorrow. Hey, Raising Canaan. Oh, it's about to be 12 o'clock. Look, Raising Canaan about to come on at night. So I may do a episode 2 review of Raising Canaan. So not to do any spoilers, but if you're in the Raising Canaan in Power, we'll speak on that tomorrow night. Give you guys some time to watch it as well. So listen, thank you guys for tuning in as well. I definitely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And thank you to Josh, everyone, Joy, McKeeb, who came on the live earlier as well. Thank you guys for joining the panel personally. Also, thank you to 302 Delaware Post for sharing our information in regards to the live tonight. So yes, we are going to end the stream here. So definitely, again, thank you for everyone tuning in. Again, if you want to watch the replay of the live, it'll be on my Facebook, on my Twitch, my Kick, and also YouTube. If you're just a YouTube person, Mal_Stacks is my YouTube. Same thing you see here in the corner, Mal Stacks. That's my name on all platforms besides Twitch. Twitch is HHX Mal. So that's the last thing I'll do. That's the last free promo, I promise. But thank you guys all again for your continuous support. I'll see you tomorrow night. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their evening. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great night. Appreciate it. Goodbye. I say goodbye. Peace. Goodbye. See, I just be rambling. I will honestly continue to talk. I'm gonna stop rambling out in the live here. So appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night, man. Thank you.